Hi guys, it's Coach Michelle. I'm going to lead you through 2 different self-myofascial release movements that you can and should be doing to complement all of the hard workouts that you've been doing lately. We want to keep in mind that with recovery myofascial release, we want to remain still and go towards the pain for a prolonged period. Today I'll be using a 2-minute window, but certainly in areas that have built up a lot of fascial anchors, you want to stay there for as long as you can. When we're talking about a pain scale today, we're talking about 0 being no pain and 10 being you need to get off the ball, you can't breathe, or the roller, or whatever you're using. So when I reference a 7 or 8, that's kind of what we're looking for. We really want to sit on that 7 or 8, disperse that fascia so that that fascia can again rehydrate and also get more circulation to the muscles that have been affected by the fascial anchors. We're going to start with our lacrosse ball or roller, and I have a block for support that you'll see me cue you to use if you want to do a less active and more passive style recovery. So we're going to start with our right leg. We're going to hold our right arm down to our sides to mark the position. If this is the side of my leg, I want to shift towards the front, so I want to cut this diagonal here, and I want to be about at where my palm is on this ball. So I'm going to be right about there. If you're wearing a pair of jeans, which I hope you're not for this, it would be right in line with the bottom of your pocket. So if you have some support, you're going to put that down, and then we're going to lay on this ball, and you're going to see me shift my body so that my weight is really on this ball. And if I stay up like this, that's fine. I'm not going to get as much pressure on the ball as if I lay down. So for purposes of this video, I'm going to stay up and also show you what it looks like to lay down. Before we get started, I'm feeling about a 5. I know there's like a 7 or 8 in there. Part of that is me just really relaxing into the ball. You'll see I'm not rolling around, I'm not moving. Once my fascia starts to become a little bit more viscous and less plastic, which will naturally happen over time, I'm very slowly going to move to where I feel the pain intuitively, which is a little bit lower and a little bit more lateral. I'm going to set my timer now for 2 minutes, and this is when I might use the block if I want to be a little bit more passive, and that suits me today because I had a few hard workouts in the past few days and took a nice hike today. So I'm just going to lay into this and focus on breathing for the next 1 minute and 40 seconds. And certainly you could go up to 5 or more minutes on areas that really need your attention. So as we're here, if the pain starts to disperse, it's important to move towards it slowly. And you really want to move towards and what we call chase the pain, because we're looking to really flatten out those anchors, those layers of bound fascia so that they can spread and rehydrate. So you'll see I'm just barely moving down. You might not even notice that I'm doing it. And I'm really trying to relax my quad, and I'll feel that when my kneecap kind of sinks and drops, and it'll be more painful. Now, if I were laying here and I weren't feeling anything, I could move this, and I could just lay down slowly. And that takes me to about an 8. But it's also harder for me to relax. So I'm going to choose to come back up so that I can relax into this more. And I've only got about 20 seconds left, so I'll keep this nice and active. Again, I'm trying to relax my quad and focus on long, deep breaths. And so the timer's finished, and what we're going to do is move very slowly. We're going to press into our hands and lift our hips up simultaneously. And then in between sides, we'll sit back into a modified child's pose. So if you have a block, just having this right underneath your forehead. If you don't, you can use your hands or just sit in a modified plank like I am. We'll just give that muscle a chance to kind of disperse the feelings it was having before we go to the other side. There's a little friend on my mat here. Come on, get off. I won't crush you. All right, let's go to the other side. So we'll take our ball. Again, we'll find that side and we'll move forward so that we're again kind of cutting a diagonal here, and we're going to be at the bottom of our pants pocket. I'm going to lay down on this ball and I'm going to look for that pain. It's pretty immediate. I'm going to give it a few seconds. Yeah, it's there. And we'll start our timer for 2 minutes. And now putting a block under there just made it really less effective. And that's more effective. So I'm going to choose to be more active here and just stick it out. You could use a foam roller for this. It's not as effective. You would just use it crosswise the same way. It's also important that you're not distracted while you're doing this, because you're really teaching your body to pay attention to what it's feeling so that you can address it. So if you're scrolling through social media or the news, that's going to affect certain areas of your brain that we're actually trying to address. Moving slowly towards pain. About 30 seconds left. That's 2 minutes. I'm going to press into our elbows or hands. And again, we'll take that modified child's pose. Just give our muscles a chance to catch up with what's happening. Okay, so for this next roll, again, you could use your roller, but it's not ideal. A block or an elevated surface with the ball on it is very effective. If you were to use your roller, you would place it sideways and you'd put your leg on it like this. Again, it'll work, but it's just not going to be as effective. So we're going to take our block, place it widthwise on the mat, and then I'm going to put my ball right on top of it. Now I'm going to go in this roll to the meaty part of my calf. So if I were to push on my calf muscle, I really want to be right in the center of that area, and then we'll kind of explore that area over the 2 minutes. So I'll start with my right leg. I'm going to put that, woo, there we go. So my goal here is to roll out the muscles underneath these big superficial muscles. The soleus is really what I'm going for. And the reason I'm going for that is because I tend to get like foot cramping and pain when I do a lot of plyometrics or running or whatever. So I know a lot of you are in that boat, and this is really helpful. When you have let's say you have plantar fasciitis, which fortunately I don't have, but if you have that, rolling it a lot can aggravate it. So rolling the areas that are probably causing the problem is a little bit gentler way to address it. I'm going to start the 2 minutes now because I really feel it sinking in. And there's a couple of things that you might feel. One, if it's, getting pretty deep in there, it might start to feel like a cramping sensation. If that happens, I want you to do this with your foot. Just kind of slowly flex it back and resist a little bit before you drop it down again. And then if you're here and you're really not feeling anything yet, I want you to rotate inward from the hip and then slowly outward, and just kind of scan and look to where you feel like you need this. The other thing that's happening for me is my foot starting to flex, and that's my body being like, oh, I don't want to do this. This is not my natural pattern and it hurts. So I'm going to try and let my ankle relax and extend a little bit. That's going to allow the muscle to relax. Hence, I'll be able to get to those anchors in my fascia that I know are there. Now, I don't need to do this, but if you're like, I'm still not feeling anything, you can cross your leg over, and I am just not interested in that right now. My calves have been through a lot today, and I'm going to be kind to them. Again, I want to be at about a 7 or an 8 right now. I'm in a 7, and that's okay with me. I have super sensitive calves, and 7's just fine. Got about 40 seconds left. So if the pain again is dispersed, you want to move slowly. The reason we want to move slowly is because when we move quickly, our fascia, which has many states, becomes more plastic. And we really want the fascia to be in a viscous state when we're rolling so that we can find the thick parts and smush them out. One note too, if you're feeling a lot of tingling sensation, you want to move next to that area. You might be on a nerve, so avoid that like tingly feeling in your foot if you're having it by moving next to that area. Okay, so that's been about 2 minutes. What we're going to do now is we're just going to bend the knee really slowly, keeping that ankle relaxed. Then we're going to straighten the leg really slowly. I want you to see if there's anything else in there that might need addressing, excuse me. Whoa. We'll just stay there for like another 15, 20 seconds. By breathing, I'm giving my body the signal to relax. Oh, and it's starting to cramp, so that's a sign that we need to stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and take your foot off, leg off. We'll put it on the block, and then we'll just rotate our leg around, or ankle, excuse me, around. We'll go to the other side. I'm going to take my ball, I'm going to put it in the center of that block. If I don't have a block, any raised surface will do, like a little bench. But if this is on the ground, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to manipulate. It's possible. It's just I'm not going to be able to move my foot much. And the pressure is better with a block. You can find blocks really anywhere online, and they're cheap. They're worth an investment. At the gym, we use the cork blocks, which are nice. They're antimicrobial, and they wear and tear really nicely. They don't wear out like these ones do. So here we are on the left side. We're in the center of the calf. First, we're just going to let the fascia go from its plastic state more towards viscous. I want to make sure my ankle's relaxed. And then I want to go towards the pain. Now I'm starting to feel my calf is relaxing. I'm past the big gastrocnemius muscle. I'm down into the soleus now, which is what I'm looking for. Soleus is the muscle that actually attaches to the Achilles tendon, which is the biggest tendon in the body. And the soleus is more at risk of becoming more stable, which means it's more at risk of anchoring, creating fascial layers, because it's closer to the bone. So that's usually where the problems are, down deep. The chronic problems are down deeper to the bone, and that's why we stay still, because when we move and we roll, which is great for warming up, there's nothing wrong with rolling out and moving. I do it every day. But when we move, we stay more superficial, or we get maybe those pops and cracks out, but we don't address the fascia, the deep problems, until we're still. So right now I'm like at a 6, so I'm going to choose to see how this feels. And that's an 8. And just again, I'm exploring a little bit. Yep. And another reason we want to move slow is sometimes you're right next to the problem, and if you move too fast, you're going to bypass it, because again, the fascia will become more plastic, and we need that viscous state to really get down deep. My intuition served me well, so it's been 2 minutes. So I'm going to keep my foot on here. If you have yours on, you could take it off or keep it on. And I'm going to just slowly bend my knee. And yep, I'm going to see if there's anything a little bit possibly lower or next to where I am that could use a little more attention. And I've got it. Stay here for about 15 more seconds. Just really letting the body absorb the ball. Off, put the leg on the block, and just circle out our ankle one way and reverse. I hope that you enjoyed spending a little time on your self-myofascial release. It's important. It will serve you in ways that you might not even notice if you do it enough. It's kind of like sheltering in place. If not a lot of people are getting sick, we're doing the right thing. So if you're rolling a lot and you're not having chronic injuries, you're doing the right thing. Don't stop. Stick with it. It'll pay off. And then you can keep doing all the hard workouts with much less risk.